Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. Welcome to the Matt Kim podcast. And today we have just the most amazing guest flown down all the way from Paramus, New Jersey, running for Congressional District 5 in New Jersey.
That's right.
Mr. George Song, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Matt Kim. It's such a pleasure to be here. Just an honor to meet you, buddy. I've been following you for so long, and I love what you're doing. And I love that how you're being a voice to so many people who are voiceless, that you're actually courageous and brave and saying these things that you're saying that many people can't really say or can't be heard. And I just applaud you, man. I think you're doing such a great job, and I want you to keep it up. Keep it up.
Well, thank you very much. Can we get a burr, 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 burr? What? Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm excited to have you. We typically don't have congressional candidates in the podcast. It's not typically something we do.
Am I the first one?
You are the first one.
Awesome.
And let me tell you, I've had requests from other congressional candidates or Congress people before. Matt, can I come on your show? Can we do an interview? And I've always kind of shied away from it because I find most of them extremely disingenuous. And I'm like, I don't want to promote you because I don't actually believe you. We had a conversation before. We were on the phone, I think for 1 or 2 hours, maybe a couple months ago. And my initial gut was like, I really like George. I really believe George. I feel like you're doing it for the right reasons. That was my gut instinct, at least. And when I found out that your Republican primary is coming up, like we need to do it. And you flew all the way down from Paramus, New Jersey to do it. Amazing. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. Look, we've got a lot of things I think we could talk about today. But yeah, I appreciate you. You know, like you said, I'm not trying to do this to become a politician. I mean, yeah, I am, but it's not just, I don't want to be a lifelong politician. I just see all the crazy stuff that's happening, that's going on right now across our country, but also in the state that I was born in, you know, in our district. And it's just, I'm worried because I have a young son who's going to partake. And I originally got into this by running for the Board of Ed in my town because my son now, he's almost 2 years and 2 months. And, you know, I want him to partake in the public school system because that's what I partook in when I was growing up. But just to see all the crazy thing that's going on. And I don't know if you know about what's going on in New Jersey, but the curriculum is very odd, very crazy. A lot of it has to do with the health education, specifically the sexualization of young kids. And they're starting at very young age, like first grade, second grade. Like really stuff that they shouldn't be taught, and nor do they have the brain capacity to really understand. And so they're teaching these sexual acts and just all these different things from third grade to fifth grade and so forth. And they're also talking about like gender identity, confusing kids. And so it's getting very messy. And look, we just got out of COVID, right? Our kids, our children, our students were learning on a computer. We know how successful that was. It wasn't, right? Because we're looking at the data. The data's coming out now. A lot of the data in our town, there's some subjects where scores are down 40%. 40%. And so why aren't we focusing on the topics that are most important, like math, English, science, right? The right history. And why are we focusing on like this really inappropriate stuff? And so I was like, no, this is not good. This is not good. And so I ran, and no one knew who I was. So the Board of Ed in our town, and this is mostly in the same thing in New Jersey, every year there's a board seat that opens up. And our town has 9 members on the board. So it's 3 positions.
And this is in Paramus, New Jersey.
This is in Paramus, New Jersey. So 3 positions open up each year. I beat 2 incumbents. I got 3,000 votes as a no one.
Is that a lot for a... I've never been a part of a board of education.
I think it's a lot.
Before, so
it's a lot. It's a lot. I never thought I would get 3,000 votes, almost 3,000 votes, and beating 2 incumbents. So I think that tells us something.
Was that your platform? Kind of something's wrong with education, and is that kind of the message that you put out for that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I want to fight for our students and for parental rights.
What were the kind of campaigns you were going up against? What were the incumbents saying that they weren't able to get reelected?
Usually the Board of Ed races, we don't have really a big budget, right? There's no budget, right? It's just parents who are concerned about education and they're running, they put their name in. The incumbents, one of them dropped out. I don't know why. I think I know why, but I don't know. I'm going to say I don't know why. And another one, she got reelected. She was the third person, but I beat her, And so when you look at why, I question why are some of these people on the Board of Ed, elected to the Board of Ed? Why do they participate? Some of them have been on for 20, 30 years, like they don't have any children or even grandchildren in the district. Why are they doing it? Maybe they just love education and want appropriate education for the kids. So kudos to them. Very good. A lot of them have been there for, good amount of time. So a lot of people just say the same things, right? And to the point where, like normal people would be like, okay, same thing. What does it really? Are you really being genuine or not? For me, it was. There are people who were attacking me, saying I was lying about the curriculum when I was reading the curriculum straight from the page, showing all the breakdown of the different things.
Did you ever go into these board events prior? And, we've seen these clips everywhere. People go on and they read the curriculum and it's this really raunchy language and they're reading it in the curriculum. They're like, you can't read it. I'm like, no, I'm reading it from the book that you guys assigned. You ever do those?
I thought about doing that, but I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I've been to other Board of Eds, though, in their towns around in our district. And there are some crazy books out there, really strange, weird books. For me, I didn't want to create division, right? In order to get things done, we need to be able to communicate and work together and compromise, right? You see what's going on in Congress today.
Yeah.
Does any work get done?
I saw that the approval rating for existing congressmen is something like 12%. That's their approval rating, 12%. But 92% of them get reelected. Why is there such a divide? The American people approve of them 12%, but yet 92% of them get reelected. Is the system broken?
I think absolutely it's broken. People who run for public office, I think, need to get a reality check. And that's why people like myself are running, I think, because they're sick and tired they're fed up with what's going on. We're supposed to be the greatest country in the world, but are we? In 2024, I think that's a valid question to ask, because look at all the crazy stuff that's going on in our country and around the world. And we're supposed to be a leader. We're supposed to lead by example, but we're not doing that. We're not doing that at all. And you look at, even like a couple weeks ago when you saw all the interaction between some congresswomen in Congress. I mean,
that was wild.
It was wild.
Between Marjorie Taylor Greene and AOC and what's her other name? Bucket or Bracket or whatever it is.
And I was like, really? Have we really come to this?
That's where we are.
This is what we're doing now? This is like, we're becoming like reality TV Congress or something like that? I mean, look, we're losing respect all from all the countries from around the world. They look at us, they see that we're weak. They see that because we are weak, we can be taken advantage of. There's no one there saying like, enough is enough, don't mess with us, or you'll see what happens next. Sometimes fear is good in a sense, right? Because that keeps certain people in check, certain countries in check. But look, we're kind of like a laughingstock. I saw the other day, I think it was like an Italian comedy show. They were making fun of Biden. And it was just like, Wow. Wow. That's what's happening. And my parents didn't immigrate here legally to be a part of that. You know, as a Korean American, you're a Korean American, and I love your story because your story, your parents' story, is pretty much exactly like my parents' story. Like all of our parents' stories, right? They came from South Korea, escaping basically communism, right? Escaping what happened from the Korean War. They know what it's like to live in that type of society. And they came to the United States, they came to America for a better future. But what's happening right now? They're seeing it, it's changing. The tide is turning. It's going in the wrong direction. And I would ask your viewers, anyone out there who's Korean or who has parents who come from another Asian country or immigrants, ask your parents, do you like what you see? Do you like what you see that's going on? What's going on in the United States? Does it remind you of something from the past? And I'm sure they'll tell you something, and listen to what they have to say, because there's a reason why people say history repeats itself if you're not careful.
So I want to kind of start quick background of who you are. You are a firefighter.
Yes.
You are a police officer.
Yes.
You work with you're on the Board of Education.
Yes.
Board.
Yes.
You are a church worship leader.
Yes.
So you have a history of service to community.
Yeah.
Most people that join into Congress, they either come from a completely business background or a non-related background. But rarely do people try to get into Congress that have a background in service. Why do you think that is? Why don't more people that are living a service type of life join the ultimate service, which is service for the country?
Well, maybe they don't want to get involved. You know, people always ask me, how do you do all these things? How is it possible? And you have a young family, you have a young son. And my response is, if it's important to you, you will make time. You'll make time. It's important to me. You know, when I ran for the Board of Education, I served. You know, our public meetings they last almost 5-6 hours.
Really?
5-6 hours. We start around 6:30. I get home like 11:30, 12.
Is it mostly moms just really mad?
No, it's not even that. A lot of the stuff right now is what we do is in closed session. So we're talking about things like HIB, which is harassment, intimidation, bullying. This is a big thing right now in New Jersey. Now everything is that. So there's all these cases that we have to review and talk, and now everyone has their own 2 cents that have to put in to the conversation, and it just goes on and on and on. Then we also have committee meetings too. Those are 1 hour, 1.5 hours, and it depends on how many committees you're on. So I'm not getting paid for this. Why am I doing it? It's because I care. I want to do something. Being part of the fire service, you know, a couple weeks ago, we were at a call till 3 a.m. because there was actual fire outside of a house. Why do we do it? It's because I care. I want to show that I care. Going out in uniform, going out on patrol, making sure the community is safe. Why did I put myself out there? It's not because I'm like, it's because I care. And serving in church, you know, I've been doing that for 30 plus years. Why do I do that? The biggest question I think many people have to ask is, like you, what's your intent? What are you trying to do here? And you said this in a prior episode when you're talking about like running for president. You were saying, run for president for 4 years, not just like the prior 9 months before the election.
Yep.
Right? Show people who you are. And you said people won't do it because they're scared. They're scared of what people may think about them. They're scared of putting all that money in and then, you know what, it not being anything. And you just call them cowards. And I 100% agree with you on that. Look, I'm not doing this to become famous. I'm not doing this because I'm going to get a payout, or I don't even know. I don't even know what's at the end of the rainbow here, right? But I'm doing it because I want to be an example to my community. I want to show, especially to the Korean community, to the Asian community. When you look at politicians in our district, there's no one in higher office. Like you look nationally, how many Korean Americans are in Congress? There are 4. 2 from California, 1 from New Jersey, and I think 1 from Washington State. That's it. We were talking before, how many Koreans just live in here alone?
Yeah.
You know, and we only have 4. In New Jersey, in Bergen County, in that area, our ballot is translated in Korean. Is it translated here in Korean? Maybe it is.
I don't know.
It might be, but that says something because in other counties it's not. So it's translated in Korean, but we have nobody in higher office. We have some maybe council people here and there sprinkled around, but no one in higher office. And living on this earth for 45 years, living in New Jersey, born in Bergen County, grew up there, lived there my whole life, I'm just sick and tired of the promises. The politicians, when it come around election time, hey, we love the Korean people. We love the Asian people. Oh, we're going to help you in this, that. And then when they get elected, they disappear.
Nothing.
And then 2 years comes around for a Congress, you know. Oh, we love the Korean people. Let me take a picture, put it on my Facebook. And then nothing.
Especially in a place like Bergen County where it is predominantly Korean.
Yeah.
And for people that don't know, Bergen County in New Jersey is probably one of the highest density Korean populations in the whole country. Maybe a section of LA may have more. But outside of that, it is predominantly Korean.
Hey, we have a Koreatown. I know you guys have a Korean town here too. But back in the day when our parents immigrated, when Koreans immigrated, they either immigrated to LA or Bergen County, New York City area, right? So that's where the highest population in such a small, tight area where Koreans, you know, lived and did their businesses, you know? And they worked hard. They did it the right way. So when you see all this like let's talk about illegal immigration. All these people coming over the border. I wonder how your parents feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that people don't realize. The people that were here legally, that have been working here legally, that have family members still stuck in the system of trying to figure out how to come here legally. I mean, that wait list for people to come here and for visas is enormous.
Yeah.
That wait list is so long. And then they see other people just jump them in line, come here, and not only come here, but get money to come here. And people are like, no, they've had family members waiting in line for 5-10 years, doing it the right way, following the checks and guidelines, and doing all the things that they're supposed to do, and being patient and waiting. And to see people jump them and get paid to jump them, it really pisses people off.
They're waiting, they're working hard, they're not causing any problems, they're keeping their heads down, just working their fingers to the bone. And we have a lot of these illegals coming over. They're getting shipped up to New York, New Jersey. They're getting $10,000 gift cards. You know what someone said to me the other day? It might be better if I just leave the country, become a citizen of another country, then come back into this country and get I can make more money. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's how backwards our country has gotten, where we see the crime, but we don't punish the crime. And then we go after the very, really small crimes. The people, the citizens here who have, not done anything really wrong ever in their life. And it seems like they're trying to find crimes for these people. So we've become backwards. It's just become totally like we did a 180. And why has it come to this point? And that's why one of the reasons why I am running is because I want to bring attention to all this, with the illegal immigration problem, with the economy. Like, you have a young daughter, I have a young son. You go to the grocery store, you have to buy milk. You're paying, I don't know how much is this down here, but in Jersey, it's $6 a gallon for milk. If you want the good stuff, the organic stuff, it's like $8 a gallon. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? When you go buy bread, right? It's $5 a loaf of bread, right? Like all the basic necessities that people like cereal. Box of cereal is like $8.
That's crazy.
It's $7, $8. It's like the Frosted Flakes, It's like you can't eat. You go to McDonald's, you're $15 for a meal.
Yeah.
This is how crazy America has gotten. And I'm just wondering why people aren't more upset. I think people are, but they just don't have the voice and the platform to do it. You do. But I think something's going to happen this November. And people are going to come out to vote. This is a presidential year. People are going to come out to vote, and they're going to want their voices heard.
I mean, something we've been talking about a lot is even if you don't think your vote matters, you have nothing to lose by voting. Even if you think your vote doesn't matter, you have nothing to lose by voting, except maybe 15 minutes of your time. If your vote does matter, you have the opportunity to change history. So if you weigh the pros and cons of going out to vote, you might as well vote. Even if you don't believe in the system, you might as well. Because again, the worst that can happen is you lose 15 minutes of your time. And really, if you really want to make a difference and if you actually believe that your vote matters, take one friend with you. We all have that friend that's like, no, the system's rigged. Like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to vote. If you convince one person, everyone convinced one person to go with them that wasn't going to vote, the whole country would change. It's the apathy that people have that don't care that is really damaging the country. You have the ability to win the country back. The only way to do it is by voting and supporting people that actually do genuinely care.
Look, I say if you don't vote, you can't complain. You can't. You have no right to complain. Like you just said, 15 minutes of your time. You can even mail it in now, right? I mean, you'll get it in the mail. Look, I've been only doing this for about 3.5 months running, okay, for politics. In a period of 8 weeks, I flipped almost 900 registered Democrats to registered Republicans. That's what I did in 8 weeks.
So you've been literally going door to door. How'd you do that? Because I remember we talked about that. You were finding registered Democrats and showing up with paperwork so that they can convert over to registered Republicans.
Yes.
What is that process even like?
I'll tell you, it's not an easy process. It requires a lot of willpower and a lot of work and a lot of talking. A lot of
no's.
A lot of no's. But interestingly enough, there were a lot of yeses, more yeses than no's. Probably like 95% yeses, 5%
Really?
no's. And so how did I reach out? Well, I started with the low-hanging fruit. What's the low-hanging fruit for me? Well, I go to church. So I talk to all my church people. Talk to other church people. I'm Korean. I go to where the Koreans hang out. I go to the senior center, talk to those Koreans over there. And it's about building the relationship. You can't just go out and say, hey, I'm George Song. I'm running for Congress. Vote for me. Because no one ever is going to do that. That's where you come in. That's why you say you feel I can't even say the word, but they're not being genuine.
Yes.
With you, right? But if you get to know their story, if you listen, I'm a good listener. I found I'm a really good listener. I like to hear people's history. So when I talk to older people, I've learned so much. I'm like, and the first question I ask is, why are you a Democrat? A lot of people, they don't have an answer. And then I go, well, do you love what Biden has done for the country? We know the answer to that. No. Do you like what's happening in your state? In New Jersey? No. Then explain to me, why are you a Democrat? Convert me. Convert me. And they can't. They don't have an answer. And then I share, well, why am I a Republican? What is it that I believe in? I believe in what my parents believe in, right? They're entrepreneurs. They're business owners. They want a great society where they can run their business. They want a great education for their kids. That's why they moved over here, for the future. They wanted safe neighborhoods. They wanted a great economy where we can all partake and even put into it whatever we can. They wanted to buy a house. You can't buy a house in New Jersey anymore.
It's crazy.
A regular house that back in the day was probably $300,000. A house on my block earlier this year was purchased for almost $1 million. It's not $1 million house. So when we see all these things that we've dreamed about and we go after, the dream has kind of faded away in a sense. And when I talk to these people, they want to share what they're feeling because they have no one else to talk to. They have no one else to share it with. Do you think the person who, the Democrat Gottheimer, who is, hopefully I can run against him in November, he's coming to talk to the Korean people and saying, well, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? No, not at all. And that's why I resonate with people because they know I'm not a transplant. I'm not a carpetbagger. I was born here. I'm a result of people like you who've immigrated here. I'm the offspring. I'm what's come out. You know, when people move here to America, their intention is not to move back.
Yeah.
Their intention is to plant their roots here, to be firm here. You know, so there are a lot of immigrants, even in the Korean community, that are so patriotic. You know, Memorial Day happened, right? Just a few days ago. And I I marched a parade in Fort Lee. I was invited. I think I shook almost everyone's hand in the parade route. I lost, I think, 5 pounds that day. I was drenched, but I was like, I need to say hello to these people, to say hello to everyone. Because when I've seen parades and there are people running and politics, they're just like, hello, how are you? They don't care.
Not engaged with the community.
They don't care. You gotta, you can say you care, but you have to show how you care. Your actions have to speak louder than your words because people now are smarter than ever. They know their gut is going to tell them, I don't believe you. Like in an instant, in like 10 seconds, they're going to know who you are. And so, I'm running in a primary. It's this coming Tuesday. Hope I can win that. And my opponent is like, their logo says, I care. The logo says, I care. And it's like, well, how do you care?
Because I said so.
Yeah.
Because I said so.
And like, are people really foolish enough to believe that? I mean, you have this on, everyone has a computer. You do a little search, you find out everything. You can find out everything. You can't fool people these days. Because people are very smart. So look, I hope I have that opportunity and to really represent my district moving forward and to really show them that we can get results and not just say empty promises, and hear empty promises.
So going back to the Korean American community, because obviously I'm Korean American, I was born in the United States, I've lived here, my parents immigrated here when they were in graduate school. The Korean American community has a tendency to be Democrats. We know this. But it's odd because the values that we're taught, raised, and believe in are extremely conservative. We believe in things like, God. We believe in family. We extremely heavy into family and family structure and community. We worry about most people have a small business that they're trying to get off the ground. We don't want to pay a lot of taxes. This is something that we've all learned. When I was young, my dad said, "Oh, we're Republican." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because we don't like to pay a lot of taxes." I said, "Okay, that makes sense." That was the most honest answer he could give me. I don't want to pay a lot of taxes. We're Republicans. That's okay. I guess I'm a Republican. But for some reason, the Korean American community and the Korean community and most immigrant communities, I don't even have to say Korean American community, most immigrant communities tend to vote Democrat. I always thought, and I struggle with that. Why is that true? I've pondered this like a million times in my head. Why is that true? And I think it's two things. One, it's that a lot of immigrant families don't feel like they belong here. And if you don't feel like you belong, at least go with the party that says we're going to give you free stuff. How many times have you been at the grocery store, the Korean grocery store, and the lady with the Chanel bag is paying for her groceries with her EBT card? You see that all the time. Then you have the other side is that the churches, which end up being the center of community and culture for most immigrant families. If you're Korean American and you move to New Jersey for the first time and you want to meet other families, you join a church. That's what they do. Not only do Koreans do it, Hispanics do it, the Chinese do it, even Chinese do it within the Chinese Christian churches now, which there are a lot more than people think. They go there and the churches tend to be Democrat. And they push Democratic talking points to their congregations. And that really upsets me sometimes. Why are the churches pushing for the other side? I don't understand why.
I think both of the things that you said are correct. Let me just talk about the first. I think that the Democrats, they do, I'll admit it, they do some things really well.
They're better at the outreach.
Yeah, they're better at the outreach. And so when you have an immigrant family coming in, they'll reach out to them. They'll help them get a driver's license. And when you get a driver's license in New Jersey, you can choose what party. So they'll probably put their 2 cents in there, right? But they do really well on the outreach, right? When I was giving my speeches early on in my campaign to the in Bern County, we have Bern County Republican Organization. And then our district, CD5, covers 3 counties. So there's Bergen County, Passaic County, and Sussex County. So I give my speeches, and obviously it's all Republicans in the room. And one thing I realized and I noticed, and I even said this out loud to them, is like, you all are really great people. But how is it that I don't see anyone in this room that looks like me? Not one single person. I see my dad, right? He'll follow me around.
Being supportive.
He's being supported. Everyone loves my dad. But why is that? You've all been saying that you've been reaching out to the Asian and Korean communities so long, for 10 years plus, but no one's here. So it's either you're really bad at marketing or you're lying. I hope you're bad at marketing, because then that's something we can fix, right? And that's what I've been showing with the flips. But if you're lying, you're just really bad. You're not good people, right? So the Democrats do that, and really well, reaching out. And I think we need to, what the Republican Party, I think, is doing is they're trying to play catch up, which is okay, but that's not good too. We need to be innovative. We need to be creative. We need to find other solutions to be better than the Democrat Party. So that's one thing. Another thing I think is a misconception, because Korean politics is a little different than American politics. And so when people come over and they see the word Democrat and they say Democratic Party, they think democracy. So I think there's some confusion in there as well, because it's not it shouldn't be the Democratic Party, it's the Democrat Party. You know, it's the Republican Party, right? So there's some confusion with that respect. And then the second point you mentioned was the churches. And throughout history, churches were the community center.
Yes.
They were the focal point of society, right? When you go into Europe and you see how towns were formed, it was all formed on the basis of a church being in the center. That's how back in the day the towns were formed. But yes, they are pushing weird ideologies, and there's a problem in the churches today.
Yeah, I mean,
you see all the distorted things of what's going on, all the crazy stuff within the different, in the United Methodist Church, what's going on in there. It's just absurd. And not a lot of people are standing up to the actual principles that are written in the Bible.
I mean, we're seeing the split. We recently saw the split in the United Methodist Church. We saw the split in the Presbyterian Church. And those two denominations are the biggest denominations for the Korean community.
Yes.
And I don't think most people, even within the churches, realize what's going on.
You know?
They're just like, oh, the churches are fighting again. because churches have a history of fighting,
Yeah.
always
Especially
splitting
Korean,
up.
Korean churches.
Korean churches, they love to put politics, their own personal politics, into church, and I think that probably makes people a little bit disenfranchised, feeling a little jaded to the whole process of politics because they're shoved politics in their face in church themselves, and then you want to get involved in national politics. Like, ugh, I gotta deal with this on Sundays. I don't want to deal with this too.
So it was even for me a little tricky. Like I didn't get 100% support from people of my church, right? Because they don't want to get, have politics involved in their faith. But unfortunately it is, right? If we don't vote in the correct way, which in my opinion, the correct way, we're going to have some trouble. There's trouble looming on the horizon, right? In November, can we go through another 4 years of what's going on right now? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think any normal person, even young people, I don't think so. Because if we do, what's going to happen? I can't even imagine what's going to happen. And I think a lot of people are thinking that. The people who aren't vocal, the people who are even Democrats, they're like, can we have another Biden term? Independence. They'll say, oh, I don't like Trump, but... And if they say that to me, I'll be like, well, what has Trump ever done to you? What did he wrong? How did he wrong you? Tell me. How did he do anything wrong to you? When he was a president, were things good? Was the economy good? Was business booming? Did we have a secure border? Were we trying to go in that route? Right? So that's, I think, the two biggest questions for me is, why are you a Democrat? I hate Trump. Why do you hate Trump? What did he do to you?
Well, they told me to.
Yeah. You see on like some of the, you had an interviewer on before. I forgot his name. He's a young kid. He does the interviews on the street.
Shady
and he says, they always walk away. I'm like, that's right. He's absolutely right. They always walk away because they get so frustrated because they don't know what to say. They don't know the actual answer. They're fed this information. Oh, you see what's going on in the news? Oh, Trump's in court, so it must be bad. But then when you go dive deeper into the minutia and try to have a discussion, they get flustered and then they're like, you're bad, you suck, and they just walk off. I mean, that's not, I'm all down for conversation. I'm all down for civil discourse. You can disagree with me. I'm not going to agree with you 100%, Matt.
Of course.
If I did, we'd be weird.
Yeah.
Right? No, we're going to have our little nuances and differences, but we're civil. We talk it out. We'll have a maybe heated discussion about things, but at the end of the day, we come together. I've met a lot of people, especially people involved in politics in Bergen County. And what they used to tell me was, yeah, we'd have discussions and arguments during our meetings. But after each meeting, we'd leave and we'd all have dinner together. No one does that these days anymore.
No. Everyone goes back to their tribe. Everyone splits up, and that's it.
Right.
There's no more discussion. I think that's a big flaw that maybe our parents' generation put on us. They said, you don't discuss politics and religion at the dinner table. I think that was a huge mistake. I think we should have incentivized people to have these tough discussions at the dinner table. We'd be normalized to it, be used to it. We would understand how to disagree on certain issues, but still finish dinner, even if it ends up sometimes throwing dessert at each other. But at least we would understand the process. I think the idea that most conservatives did was, don't talk dinner and politics. Don't talk politics and religion at dinner. I think that was a big mistake.
Yeah, and then our parents were busy, right? They came to a foreign land, knew no one, had to make a living, had to support a family. I don't think I could ever do that. Like me moving to, like, let's say India and doing that, I'd probably come back here in 1 week.
Is
right?
India really high on the list of places you want to move to?
But you know what I'm saying? It's just like a place that's so foreign.
Yeah.
It's so, like, they didn't know English. Did your parents know English when they came here?
No.
My parents didn't. So my dad and mom met in Korea, but then my dad came first. They didn't get married. He came first. And he was a well-educated man. He was top of his class. He was going to be a diplomat. He was studying that course, but then didn't think that was the right thing. Decided to come to America. He went to school again. He worked in a factory as a janitor. He lived in a trailer park. He wrote a letter to my mom every single day. He shows me the letters. He has a stack of letters.
Oh, that's cute.
My mom came over. They got married, and my aunt, she came over first. She married a GI. No high school, like not even high school educated. She was like my dad's mom almost, because his mom, my grandma, which I've never met, had to work because his father died when he was a baby. So, and then he came, and now he's one of the most wealthiest people I know. That's like in one generation, he's become from coming here with $50 in his pocket to like now being wealthy. Where else can that happen? Right? With someone who didn't know English, right? But if you had that spirit of, I'm going to do it, I'm going to fight for it. My dad's a fighter. Don't ever mess with my dad. My mom, she studied to be a registered nurse. Back then, it's like it's difficult, right? She went to nursing school, graduated. She came here and was a nurse. But then she gave up her profession because my dad said, let's do this. That's a difficult thing to do too. You put all those years of education into it and then do something else. But it was because of that teamwork. And they were so busy. There are times when I was home with my sister late at night. My mom's parents, my grandparents had to come over from Korea once or twice to watch over us and raise us because they were working so hard. They were sacrificing that time that they could have had with their children because they wanted to build that dream, American dream. And that hard work paid off. As with many, many families like your own, hard work paid off. But it does come with some sacrifice. So I wish we could. I've never gone to a ball game with my dad. I remember this.
Definitely go.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to a baseball game, but not with him. But like, I remember when I was young, he's like, I got baseball tickets. We're going to Yankees, and somehow he lost them. I don't think he lost them. I think he probably gave them to somebody else. Yeah. I've gone to one golf tournament, like a senior PGA golf tournament with him. Like, we never did that. I never had that. But now I have the opportunity to do that with my son, right? Because of all the obstacles that they knocked down, all the things that were in the way they knocked down. Now we can do, like, Matt, your parents never thought you were going to do something like this. You never thought you were going to do something like this, right? But you're doing something like this. Do you think if they stayed in Korea that you'd be doing something like this? No. This is the beauty of America. This is the beauty of the United States. That Chinese guys like us, right? You said it enough. I get that every day. Oh, who's that Chinese guy, right? People like us can now, because of the sacrifices of our parents, can blossom into beautiful flowers, And now your daughter, and hopefully you'll have more children, they can look up to you like, Daddy, look what Daddy did. And think of what they're going to be. We don't have to be lawyers and doctors anymore. No. That's what we were programmed to think. And so, but now you don't have to be. And that's why I want to be an example to the younger people too. You can serve. You can be a police officer. You can go to the military. You can be an entrepreneur and start your, little store, coffee shop, whatever it is. You have that opportunity. You don't have to be the doctor and lawyer, right? That is the transformation and the changes that we're going. And it's only happened in like 1 or 2 generations. Yeah. Which is amazing. Like the Korean, like we were in war in early 50s. Yeah. Right?
Not long ago.
Long ago.
Most of our grandparents lived through it.
Yeah. And look where Korea is now too.
Yeah.
Most broadband wired, technology savvy, Samsung, LG, Hyundai, Kia, right? I mean, from a small country like that,
if anything, Koreans are resilient.
It tells a lot about our spirit. That's for
Thousands
sure.
of years of countries invading and using it as a war bridge.
Yep.
And yet somehow still here.
Yep.
Still alive.
Yep.
Still kicking.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's a lot. I think a lot of, especially the Korean Americans, and I think all immigrant families, especially if you're here, in your blood, somewhere you have a little bit of anti-establishment in you. You have to be.
Yeah.
Because if you weren't, you'd still be in the country that you were from. You're here because in some point in your life, you're like, I want more opportunity. I don't like the current system in place, and I want things to be better. I want things to be better, not just for myself, but for my family. And when you look around and you're like, wait a second, I gave up everything to come here, and this is not what I wanted for my family. Why don't people realize that?
I think a lot of people are just very busy with their own lives. You know, they can busy trying to go up the career, build our career. They don't want to get involved, unfortunately, because maybe they'll be shamed publicly, right? Cancel culture. And I understand it because we're just so interconnected, right? You do a Google search on Jews Matt Kim and you'll see everything from the good and the bad.
Don't Google me, guys.
I mean, look, I'm on social media now and people are saying I'm like, you know, they're calling me things, you know? And I laugh at it. I mean, like,
badge of honor.
You can't be in this and not have thick skin, right? And look, when I was little, I was called all those things when I was young too. So it doesn't faze me one bit. But, you know, that's why we need more people to stand up and be examples, especially to our younger people. You know, forget people who are our age. They're just so busy. But what about the younger people? There's so many bright kids. Like even just when I see in my church, like even in the youth group and kids going to the college, and when they come back from school and have these conversations, they're so freaking smart.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember talking like that when I was in college, right? We were just like, oh, we're trying to.
Where's the cake, dude?
Who's that girl? You know, like, you know, we're just trying to like, you know, but they're just so smart. And
I think we discredit the younger generation too much as a population. We always say, oh, Gen Z, they don't know. I'm like, no, they know way more than we give them credit for. I think we discredit them way too much. And I think if we were to, especially on the conservative side, we're like, oh, Gen Z, they're liberal, like, well, they're lost. No, they're not. They're so smart. They're so aware of what's going on in the world. If anything, they are more aware than any generation ever before them. And it's about outreach.
Total outreach. I mean, so outreach, when you do outreach, that takes your time, right? Time is the only thing we can never get back, right? We lose money, we can make it back, but time is time, right? So, but we have to make the time. This is our future that we're talking about. I'm trying to put together an organization of young kids so that they can actually meet people who are doing other things, right? Who have a show or who are involved in politics or who are in law enforcement or who are doing other things, not just the typical doctor and lawyer thing. That you don't have to go to Ivy League school, right? Study hard, go to a good school, but it's not about just the Ivy Leagues.
Yeah.
And we're being canceled from Ivy Leagues too. Right? Asians, we can't get into the Harvards for some reason. You'd think we'd be able to get in based on our skills and talent, our merit, but I guess not. But you know, these are the things that we need to lift them up. We need to lift up our young people because you know, when they call, you know, I don't know if they still do this. Do they call kids like snowflakes and stuff like that?
I don't know. I feel so old that even using the word may date us. I don't know.
When I heard that term, I was like, yeah, you guys are snowflakes. But then when I thought about it, I was like, that's not a good term actually, you know, because it's not all of them. There are so many kids who are that I know, even kids like I'm in the fire service. There's a couple kids who are seniors in high school, you know, and they're serving. And they're so passionate. They know so much about fire, like what's on the engine in the truck. I'm like, oh, you know, but they know so much. They're so into it. And this is like service, you know, this is building a community, a brotherhood, a sisterhood, right? Of people that even though we may not look the same, we're all the same. right? We all have pretty much the same goals and the wants. Why do we have to be divided? You know, when I look at the Korean community, and we know there are a lot of like Democrats, yeah, but I want to bring everyone together because strength in numbers, right? I mean, if I don't get a seat at the table, do you think the other person is going to fight for you or for me? At least if I get a seat at a table, I can raise an awareness, an issue about things that we're concerned about. And not just for the Korean or Asian community, but for all the minority communities. You know, we're a cultural melting pot in Bergen County. Down here too, the same. I just learned today that you have county schools that are like teaching Spanish and Korean. That's crazy to me. Like you have a county school
in Georgia.
In Georgia, like New Jersey, man, we got to do something. Like, I mean, it's just interesting, right? But we have to inspire people, and that's what I'm trying to do. I guess I'm like to give people hope. Because like you said before, a lot of people are moving down from New Jersey down to here. I understand why. Cost of living is cheaper. You have everything and more with regards to like things to eat, where to shop, culture, all that types of stuff. I understand why. But I feel like that's also just like we got to fight.
Yeah.
We shouldn't run away, you know? When a call comes in like for a fire, and there's a fire in the house, most of the fire people run to the fire. When there's a call coming in, someone needs help, you know, we hear on the police radio, we run to it because we want to solve the problem. And I think we need more people who have that sort of mentality to show that we're running to it and we're going to try to solve that problem. We may not solve the problem. We may not have the solution, but we're not going to run and hide away from it. And if I can be that example to our Asian community and the young people sees me, they can be the next president, right? Next congressman, senator, whatever. And they can make actual, real good change. So that's why, you know, that's one of the reasons why I put my name into the race, is because I haven't seen anyone else that has done it.
How has the Korean media been to you? Because in New Jersey and New York, like SBS, KBS, Korea Times, Korea Daily, they have their New York, New Jersey versions of the news. And for people that don't know, Korean news in Korea tends to be extremely liberal. I'm not sure how the local news and media is. Have they been supportive? Have they helped you at all?
Well, so there's a candidate who's running for Senate. His name's Andy Kim.
Okay.
You probably heard about him.
He is extremely liberal from southern New Jersey.
From southern Jersey. All the media is talking about him.
He's the worst, by the way.
No relation. I've never met him.
The worst. Yeah, the worst.
But you know, they're all pushing for him. And
So he's their trophy, right, kind of trophy Korean.
Yeah, he's a trophy.
Pushing.
He's a Korean.
Yeah.
He's not known as the Democrat, or he's the Korean. And so I understand, you know, why Koreans will support his campaign, because they'll give a voice, like a Korean senator.
But he's so far left.
Of course, because people don't know that, though. It's not talked about in the newspaper.
It's just that he's Korean.
It's just that he's Korean.
Because again, he is so left.
Right. Well, you see how he's
like Ro Khanna left.
You see how the news portrays him, right? January 6th, he's picking up garbage. I mean, like, you know, like, oh, he's a good person. He's a good this or good that. Look, I've never sat down and had a conversation with him, so I don't know him personally.
We may have to get him in here.
Hey, Andy Kim, let's go. Let's we'd like to talk to you. But you know, that's how the news portrays. And for me, someone like me, I don't have that $1 million fundraising, you know, budget. I'm a nobody, and no one knows a nobody, right? So I have to work that much harder to get my name out. So I've been in some of the Korean press, and then they have reached out to me. I was on the Korean radio station a few days ago, and they want to do another interview. So word's getting out. Is it too late? I don't know, right? But it's slowly getting out. But I want people to know, and thank you. That's why thank you for having you bringing me onto your show. That more people have to know about the no-name candidates, right? Because I'll tell you something. In Bergen County, in New Jersey, we have something called the party line, which no longer exists in any other state, but in New Jersey, it does.
Okay.
And then Andy Kim, he actually filed a lawsuit against the county clerks against this party line, saying it's actually very bad because it doesn't give the normal regular voter, it skews them to vote for just column one. And so he in his brief, he wrote about how it's unfair to him too because he's being connected with other people that he doesn't know, and we're all on the same party line. He filed a lawsuit. District court agreed with him, and then the county clerks, I believe, they appealed, and the appellate court also agreed with him. So what happened was the county clerks were ordered to take away the party line, but they only did it for the Democrats. They did not do it for the Republicans. So
wait. So there's a party line, meaning when you vote, you automatically vote down ballot.
It's down ballot, one column. So what happens, I can speak from the Bergen County. So what happens is the Bergen County process was, there was a policy committee meeting, which there are only 60, 70 people who are part of that committee. We gave our speeches, then they vote. Whoever wins that vote gets an asterisk next to their name at the county convention, where all the people who are on the county committee, as well as elected Republican officials, come to vote. Okay, so me gave our speeches. There are 4 candidates at the time. My opponent, who's my opponent now, she got 28 votes. I got 21 votes. Differential of 7 votes. No one knew who I was. Everyone knows her because she's a failed candidate. And then we give us our speeches, and then at the convention, I lost by 50 votes. So because my opponent won, she gets connected with like Donald Trump and like the other people who won that convention, and that creates the party line. And then for me, I'm not on the party line. I'm on other line, or column 2 in Bergen County. But in Passaic County, I won the party line. They chose me. So I'm on number 1 there. And then the other county had no party line. So it's very weird. There's no one standard. And you'd think that if it's unconstitutional for one group of people, it would be unconstitutional for everybody.
Yeah.
But they're not applying it.
It's funny how that works, isn't it? How the election laws always seem to benefit the other party.
Yeah, the people who are in power.
Yeah.
Right? The chairmans of the county organizations. Right? They don't want to lose their grip on power. Right? Because they control it. They can control who wins. And that's why we've been losing so much in Bergen County and New Jersey as a whole with regards to Republicans, because they put up failed candidates. They put up very, very bad candidates.
Is that intentional, do you think? Or
it's, well,
like,
I don't know if I need...
Do they want to lose?
Well, I don't know if I should say this on
You
the
can say whatever
podcast.
you want.
Yeah, I might, someone might come after me, but I'll just say this. No, I don't think I should say it. I'll say it anyway because he's leaving. All right. The chairman, he does insurance business, but he does business for a lot of municipalities in Bergen County, also in Patterson. Well, a lot of them are run by Democrats, but he's a Republican chairman.
So you have to pander to your...
You guys determine or think about what you make out of that. Okay. But it's just very sad too because, I'm invited to certain Republican clubs to give speeches, and there's one which I gave a speech at, but apparently I wasn't invited. And then the chairman who's leaving, he basically, my wife was there, my son was there. He's saying that I'm following in the shadows or like always like following behind the other candidate. He called me guy, that guy, you know, so disrespectful. It's like, and I'm sitting right in front of him, you know, so disrespectful.
And your family's right
yeah,
there.
and my, you know, and my wife and my son is there. And so many people in that room were like, that's so disrespectful. I mean, like when they always say we need to unite as a Republican Party, we need to unite. Okay, so we need to unite. Then at least for me, I think we should put the best candidate forward, right? You may not like me or whatever, but we need to put the best candidate forward that can win in November, right? It's not just someone who has run many times and has name recognition or whatever. Allow the voters to vote and give them that opportunity. But if you're doing that, if you're not doing that, and then what they're also doing is we have 40... In Bergen County, we have 70 municipalities. In our district, CD5, there are 47. The BCRO, Bergen County Republican Organization, they put forward candidates to primary incumbents. Existing council people and committee people, they've put up people to go against them. This is not unifying the party. This is creating more party chaos. Like, why are you doing that? Why are people who've been serving for years doing a very good job and you're putting up opponents against them? What's your motive? What's your intent of doing that? I don't think it's good. You know, there are even some Korean people, right? There's a friend, Palisades Park, town you used to live in, councilwoman there. She's being primaried. She's being challenged. Stephanie Jang, all right? My friend in Old Tapan, he's a councilman. 5-6 years he's been a council. He's being primary challenged. Why are the Koreans being primary challenged? Why? Is there something fishy going on here? You know, like, do you not support the Korean community? Like, why are you doing this?
Which is, again, a huge part of that area, which is accommodates for a huge part of the economy, most of the businesses, all the schools, pay all the taxes, and yet you get into office, you try to make a difference, and they're primarying you.
Yeah. So this is just nonsense. This is why we can't succeed. This is why we're always losing. For the last 10, 15 years, we're always losing. We don't win higher position, higher office, because they put up these poor candidates who just say the talking points, but don't have anything to offer, that don't show from their life experience what they've done for the communities, right? And if I'm not saying I'm the best person, but I think I've shown through my action what I do. And for me to be called guy, like that guy, like, are you serious? Are you serious? At least have some respect, right? You may not like me, but don't treat me like I'm a third world country's, person, you know? Like, I have as much right to run. I was born in this country. I have as much right to say what I need to say to the people who want to listen to it. You know, don't tell me you're giving me opportunities left and right or whatever, all the baloney and nonsense. So, yeah, that's what's going on in good old New Jersey.
So if we fast forward then to next week is the primary. This episode, today is Wednesday, May 29th. This episode will be going live on Thursday, May 30th. So today would be, if you're watching, listening, it's May 30th. The primary for the Republican seat is in less than a week.
Yes.
So if you're watching, and if you're in New Jersey, and if you're in Bergen County, Passaic County, or
Sussex County,
definitely go out and vote. Definitely go for George Song. Take a friend, take 2 friends, take 3 friends. We can use all the help we can get.
Yes.
Say you make it past the Republican primary. Then now we're working for the next 6 months to get into the general.
Yes.
And you are going up against a Democratic candidate there. Do you know who that's going to be, first of all?
Yes.
Who's that going to be?
His name's Josh Gottheimer. He's known as the human fundraising machine.
Oh, no. So, you picked a great battle.
Hey, man, I love challenges. I love challenges. Look, they're saying he's got $17 million in his war chest. They say you have no chance. Look,
I love it. It's going to be so much fun.
Hey, David and Goliath. Let's go.
And for those that are thinking, maybe I want to get into politics and I dip my toe, maybe not go after the human fundraising machine. But you've picked the battle. We're going to war. It is what it is. There's no turning back.
Nope.
If you were to win, say you make it through the election, you make it through the primary, you make it through the general, and finally you find yourself heading down to Washington, D.C. What do you want to do when you get down there?
Well, before I even get down there, if I win, I'm going to meet with all the people who supported me, all the groups, the Korean community. I'm going to meet before even January or get sworn in or whatever happens down there and meet with them and get all those issues that they want to be discussed or brought up. Look, I am not going anywhere, right? I might have to go to Washington, D.C. I'm not going to live down there, right? But I want to be a man for the people, which means I have to meet with all my constituents, whether they voted for me or not, because they're all my constituents. But really sit down with those members, right? Those groups, and find out give me your top 3 concerns, right? What can we do? And I want to get rolling, like start right away to try to see what we can do to develop relationships with other people in Congress to create bills and hopefully answer some of these questions and issues. I don't have all the answers. I'm not a genius person. Definitely have to build a team and have smart people there who know the ins and outs of Congress and bills and all these different issues. But what I can promise the voters is I will be present. Like I will be there. There are people I've never met that I've talked to on the phone for like hours. When I was out yesterday, I was out in the field just putting up lawn signs. And I've talked to people that have never met me. And they're like, I'm glad I met you today because I didn't know who you were. And I was kind of leaning to the other person because I met you. I'm 100% voting for you. And I'm telling all your friends. See, this is where I know that the actual interaction, face-to-face communication, and it's making that connection with that person. Actually, that's what people want. And they know, like their gut interaction, that it's a truth. So look, I want to hear, when I first talked to you, you're like, hey, are you on Twitter? I'm like, oh, not really.
Get on Twitter, bro.
You're like, you need to get on Twitter because that's where all the politics. And so I listened to you.
Definitely go follow
George Song on Twitter.
At George Song.
Follow me on Instagram, George, the number 4 NJ. Let's build that following too. But I did that. I listened to during our 1-2 hour phone call, you said get on Twitter. So I did that. And I grew a couple hundred, which is like amazing to me because I didn't ever think I would be in a position where I don't know how to do things technologically, but it's catching up to me. So it's scaring the crap out of me. But there's something called Twitter Spaces. And I would participate and talk. That's how I kind of talked with Scott Pressler. You know what he's doing in Pennsylvania.
Yes.
He's doing some crazy, amazing stuff there. I don't know if he knows me, but he follows me now. So
great.
And we talked a little bit.
Should totally get him in. That's what we should do. We should get Scott Pressler into New Jersey.
Scott. That's what I said. I said, come to New Jersey. I mean,
yeah, and you'll go with him, and I think he'd be all for that.
Yeah. So Scott, anyone working with Scott, reach out. Come on the podcast. This is a great podcast. Great opportunity to reach out to many people who maybe you're not currently reaching out to. I connected with a lady who she ended up living in Bern County. And she said something and she's concerned about her kid because her child has autism. So she had questions. I said, give me a call or give me your number. And we talked for like 2 hours on the phone the next day. It's not like I have nothing to do, right? But it's because I wanted to hear what her issue was and try to like help her in any way that I can. That's the type of person I am. If that's the type of person CD5 wants, then please vote for me.
How many votes do you need in order to win the primary? What's the number?
I think it's I don't know the exact number, but I think it was around like 10,000 votes.
Okay. We'll get you into the next round.
I don't know the numbers though. Like,
roughly.
I don't really, to be honest, this is going to be a weird year. So no prior year's numbers is actually going to be accurate. This is a crazy year because of what America is going through. Presidential year. There have not been the last two times there was a primary for Republicans, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't really look at the numbers. Maybe I should look at them more, but I kind of go with my interactions with people. And look, if I lose, I lose. If I win, I win. Will I be disappointed? Maybe. Yeah, I'm a human being. But at the end of the day, I trust God. That's my faith. He has given me just the past 3 months a great opportunity to meet so many people I would have never even met, that they would have never even known who I was. That they're probably not voting for me, but they still came up to me and said, good job. Keep going. Keep going. Assemblymen, existing assemblymen, senators. I've met some Congress people too, you know. It's open doors. And so my thing is, we don't have a lot of time left. Let's finish strong. Let's always finish strong and see what happens and then move on from there.
I think we're in a day and a place, I think, at least for me personally, that I am so jaded by the politicians. I am so distrustful of the establishment at this point that what I care about most is helping people or getting people elected that I believe are honest and genuine. That's all I care about. I don't even care about the issues. I don't even care what issues you believe in. That's me personally. Because the issues change based on what's popular, what people are thinking, what people are saying, what's going through Congress, what people vote on. And on issues, people sometimes agree or disagree. We can't agree on every single issue you support anyway. It's impossible.
Yep.
Where I am in my life is that I just want people that actually care to go. And I think if you bring and you put in enough people in Congress that actually care about the country, care about family, care about the core beliefs that I believe in, I think we'll come to the same or similar logical conclusions at the end of that.
Yeah.
I think that's all I need, at least for me personally. But everyone's different. Some people have issues they care about and will only vote one single issue. That's up to you. Everyone has their right to vote in whichever way, shape, form they would choose.
Yeah, look, when you bring a lot of people to the table, everyone is going to have their own opinion and they probably want to be heard. But everyone has to understand that you're not going to get everything that you want. There's going to have to be compromise. There's going to have to be a meeting of the minds where we discuss issues and talk things out. There's not going to be one single bill. I wish we could do single issue bills, right? But that from what I've been reading, it doesn't really happen that often. We have to come and try to figure out what's the best solution. Honestly, not trying to put in all these weird things into these things on page 5,000 and whatever, right? But really come together honestly. If we do that, I think we have a very bright future. But we have to bring people, like you said, who are like normal people, maybe people who are business owners, right? Who have world experience, life experience, who can talk in an intelligent way and also receive what someone else is saying in an intelligent way and not getting all crazy and whatever. And really understand that we're here for the people. We're not here for ourselves. We're not here to get rich like some Congress people do, right? That they become millionaires. How do you become a millionaire as a congressperson? You know, that's bad. That's wrong. That should not be happening, but it does. We need bold people. We need courageous people to call these people out, to come and fight against them. My opponent, if I win in November, he's a millionaire. How did he, look, he does these stock trades. It's kind of weird, right? How does he know that? Is it because he's on a committee?
Of course.
Yeah, right?
Of course. It's all, you can't say it, I'll say it. It's all rigged.
Yeah. And like, if you or I were to get
be in jail.
Yeah. But this guy is not in jail, gets a little fine here and there. Come on. The Nancy Pelosi's of the world, right? It's ridiculous. They're all in it for themselves. It's 100% greed. Don't listen. And this is my warning to everyone. what they say it because you want to hear it. You have to do your due diligence. You have to investigate. You have to dig deeper. You cannot just rely on what someone says. You have to see what they have done. Whether they're an existing congressperson, how have they voted, right? Because that shows what they've done, what they do in the communities, how they serve. You have to always question. Don't take what they say as the truth. We live in a free society where you can challenge that. And I encourage you guys to continue to do that. We have to keep these people accountable, because if we don't, we're going to be in a real big mess.
George Song, if you want to follow him, go check him out on Twitter at George Song. We'll link all of the socials on the description below. Also, if you want to donate and support his campaign, because a little bit of extra funding does go a long way.
Hey, look, I'll just say this. You don't have to give me $100. If all of you guys give me $5, $5, even half of you guys, where could we be? Look, this is one of the unfortunate things is we have to fundraise, right? We need money to build a team and to get the message out. And everyone says you have to be able to ask for money. And look, I know we all work hard for what we have. And I am so honored at the people who've donated to my campaign, because all the money that I didn't loan myself anything. Like I'm just relying on the people who believe in me and who donate to me. And I'm so honored that they have that much faith in me to donate as much. Like people donate thousands of dollars. It's amazing. I don't take that lightly. I'm so very careful in how I use my money. People say, "Oh, you need to hire a campaign manager." No, I don't hire a campaign manager. They just want to take my money, right? They want to take your money. No, I am very. I hope that I'm very smart and savvy with regards to how I use your trust. Right? How you place your trust in me, that I do it in a way that benefits you, not me, you first. And so if you have a couple dollars, come to my website. It's www.george4nj.com. Check it out. Read up on me. See what I've been doing. And if you think that you could support me, a little bit of money will go a long way.
Thank you, George. Thank you, everyone. See you guys next week. Have a good day, everyone.